I'm Dr. T and welcome to my office. So in earlier videos, I talked about different ways to separate out chemicals and purify them. However, the next question is, how do you know if you've purified them? How do you know you even have the right chemical? And so I want to talk about a few different techniques, and in this video, I'm going to talk about one of the simplest techniques that as organic chemists we use. And this is actually a really old one. So that is melting point determination. So assuming you have the ever classic white powder, which a lot of organic chemicals, like the vast majority of them, are these obnoxious white crystalline powders, which, you know, that's a very generic, okay, what do I really have? And so one way of doing that is you can pack these into a thin capillary. The thinner the capillary, the less of them you have to use. And it's going to be sealed at one end. So you don't want to use too much of this because usually you're not going to try and regather it. You're just going to throw it away. Then you are going to get it to the bottom and you're going to heat it up. There's a couple of different ways of heating it up. Nowadays we got these nice little computer controlled heating blocks. Back in my day, actually not back in my day, we still had those, but the good old I had to do it, you have to do it this way kind of thing has been a while. So I got to do it the way that was done 100 years ago, in which case you take that capillary, literally strap it to a thermometer, stick it in a hot oil bath, and slowly raise the temperature of the oil with a Bunsen burner. It's a specialized bath with a little bit of an interesting shaped tube onto it to help to do this. But either way, you're going to carefully and controlled warm the thing up, and you're going to keep looking at it as it gets warmer and warmer and warmer and warmer. And you're going to start noticing that as it gets warmer, it's going to start looking a little kind of melty and kind of drippy. And then it's going to actually start producing a liquid, and then eventually it's going to melt, and it will become a liquid entirely. Depending on exactly where you are is which point you actually record, but looking at that range when it goes from kind of drippy all the way to liquid is going to tell you a lot about it. For starters, each chemical is going to have its own range where it does this. So if I know that I'm trying to purify some chemical and the compound that I purify doesn't melt at the same point as what I'm supposed to, that's not okay. That's probably telling me that I either haven't made it or that it's impure. If I have impurities, that's going to cause the range where it goes drippy to molten to be much wider. And that's also going to be lower than it would otherwise be. So if I have a wide and low number, I've probably made what I want. I just have a really dirty sample that I have to clean up. If it's higher, it's not it. If it's right on target, then it doesn't prove that I have what I want, but it definitely indicates that I do. And the beauty of this technique is it takes like 10 minutes. Seriously, it's fast, depending on, if you're doing it with the old oil tube approach, that takes a while. But if you got a fancy new device, 5-10 minutes, it's what you have. What you can do is you can take some known material, mix it with your stuff that you're testing, and if that doesn't change the melting point, that really says that you have what you think you have. Because now you've created a mixture. If you didn't actually create a mixture because they were the same thing, then it doesn't change the melting point. But if you did create a mixture, then that will change the melting point. So there's a couple of techniques you can use. This is a great one. It's an ancient technique, but we still use it today because it just works great and it is so easy to do. So in later videos, I'm going to talk about newer techniques, but I wanted to start out with a classic. So with that said, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in later videos.